Hey there guys, how's it going? Adam here for another video, and this one's a bit different from what we're normally doing. This time we're doing the Commander exclusive cards that are in set and collector's boosters. A review of those cards for Commander. Alright, so I just want to explain this just a little bit more just before we get right into the actual cards, just quickly, because they started doing this in Midnight Hunt, I think, where they're putting Commander exclusive cards into the set and collector boosters. I'm probably going to repeat this at some point, probably at the end maybe, or whatever, but again, just for clarity, like I'm probably even going to mess this up a few times, but that's what it is. These cards come in the set boosters and the collector's boosters. You can only get them there, but they're not legal in standard, and they're new cards that are going to be legal in Commander, in Legacy, Vintage, whatever, all that stuff. Yeah, sure, 3 people play that, whatever, but the important thing is they're legal in Commander, so we're going to have a quick look at some of these cards because some of them are quite interesting. At least some of them are, a couple of them are, 2 or 3 of them are, that's about it. But anyway, we better get right out into it and start talking about these cards. First up, this I think was one of the most, it was one of the earliest previewed ones. Wedding Ring, 4 mana artifact. Enters the battlefield. You give an opponent a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card, during their turn we draw a card. That's alright. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, we gain that much life as well. So it's kind of a 2-player linked, I guess, effect where you get the effects of one person. I've seen people say if you fractured identity this card and give a copy to each player, then you've essentially assembled this combo where, you know, if anyone draws a card or gains life during their turns, you'll get this effect and rah 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 and all this. It doesn't work because you've forgotten that you actually need to control Wedding Ring for you to get the effects. They've got the token copies. Like, you've given one opponent a token copy, then you've given the other opponents a token copy as well. So, with fractured identity or whatever. But then you don't have one. So they're all going to benefit, and then you're not going to benefit from it. So that doesn't work. You still need to have a copy of Wedding Ring. So, you know, it doesn't work like that. You have to find another way to essentially copy it if you want to give it to all 4 opponents. But then all 4 opponents are sharing in all the benefits. So if this was a group hug card, then I see where it sees play. That's fine. But, like, to me, when I'm thinking about this card and how I can best take advantage of it, is in a deck that's, you know, struggles, like mono white or mono red or Boros or whatnot, these sorts of things. I think about Osgear, but Osgear, because it's an artifact, any deck that cares about artifacts, things like that, would maybe want a card like this. But then it's like, well, in Osgear, I want to sacrifice it. And sure, yeah, then I can maybe make 2 copies of it and give more copies to my opponents, and then I'll have 3 of these things, or 2 of these things essentially, and my opponents will have 1 copy each. So they'll be benefiting less from it than I'll be benefiting from it. So, the life gain, sure, maybe someone will gain life here and there. That's probably pretty irrelevant for the most part. That's completely, whatever. If we gain life, we gain life. Sure, cool, whatever. I gained a life. Woo, whoa, go me. But, the cards is the most important part of this. So for 4 mana, are you actually going to play this thing to hope that, you enchant the blue player or whatever, or the person who's playing green and just drawing all the cards in the world or whatnot, or somebody that might be playing some other color and just drawing all the cards in the world? You're enchanting essentially you're giving the person who's drawing all the cards a thing so that you say, hey, can you give me some of those cards, please? Like, it's very bad in terms of, like, that, because, like, if it was compared to opposition agent or things like that, or not opposition agent, whatever it's called, I don't remember his name, but anyway, you know which card I'm talking about. Not Thassa's Oracle, whatever its name is, blah blah blah. Anyway, you know which one I'm talking about. Too many cards, too much stuff. But anyway, yeah, like, if you compare it to those effects, it just does not compare to those sort of style of effects where, if an opponent draws, you get that draw instead. So, it doesn't punish your opponents enough. It gives your opponents a benefit that you're hoping to benefit more from what they're doing. So it is slightly taxing that you're giving yourself that slight advantage, but I just don't think it's... There are some things, again, that you can do with it, but just... If it actually... if you could give all 3 of your opponents one of these right away, then that would be okay, because then you're like, oh, okay, cool, I give it to each of my opponents, and then I'm getting, triple the benefit out of it. Like, just cut off the life gain thing on here, and, just, like, give at a copy to each opponent instead. Like in standard, it's not going to do anything, especially since this is a commander-only card. So you designed this specifically for commander. Why are you, like, targeting one player? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is the thing. It's like, this makes no sense. It feels like this card was built for standard almost. So, unfortunately, I just don't think that it's that good. But it's an interesting card. It's interesting if you want to build around it, but I just don't think that it'll ever do that much. Like, it's not going to stop anyone from drawing cards or whatnot or playing their game, because somebody's going to go, well, there's no point in me sitting here and going, oh, well, I'm not going to draw cards or whatnot, because that's what I need to do to try to find my cards that are going to win the game for me. So what else are they going to do? They're not going to sit there and go, oh, well, that's it for me. I'm not going to draw any more cards. Screw you. Or I'm not going to draw cards until I find, a destroy artifact spell, so that then I only have the thing. But then it's like, well, I have this weird thing on me that doesn't really do anything. But then again, it doesn't matter, I guess. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. They had the opportunity to make this decent, and I just don't think it's decent. So, and next, Breakthrough Seraph, 6 mana, 4/4 flying. Soulbound is back. Soulbound is back. So we pair it with another thing when it enters, or when another creature enters. As long as it's paired with another creature, each of those creature has, when this creature dies, we may return it to the battlefield under our control at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, upkeep, sorry. That's okay. It's alright. It's fine. Nothing too scary. Nothing too amazing. Just fine. Can do something. Can protect 2 creatures. If you've got the Orzhov Angel, that whenever your, like, creatures die, you get them back, and if you've got this soul bonded with that, then that'll come back too. So yeah, it will save the rest of your board, and this thing, if it's soul bonded with that, will save it, so you don't lose anything, sort of thing, if somebody board wipes. There are slight things like that that can be, interesting or good or effective. But again, like, then somebody else just board wipes or whatever, and, like, it's only getting around... Wait a minute. It's only getting around death triggers. So I just look at it and think there's like so many exile effects and whatnot that will get around this, that or bounce effects that'll get around this, that I don't think it'll be nearly as effective as what people think it will be, unfortunately. So I think it's decent, but I don't think it's that amazing. Imperious Mindbreaker, 3 mana, 1/4, Soulbind again. As long as it's paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, when this creature attacks, it mills an opponent equal to its toughness. If you're playing some sort of janky mill deck where you can actually get in with combat, I don't know. Like, I don't see it. Like, maybe Phoenix might want this card, because then maybe Phoenix can attack as well as mill. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a real plan, so I just don't think that this sees much play in any deck, because it's just like, well, what are we actually going to do with this? Like, your mill deck is not interested in attacking. Like, you're just going to lose your creatures in combat, and are you actually going to mill enough cards for having lost those creatures in that combat? Probably not, so I just don't think that it's that good. Next, a Doomweaver, 6 mana, 1/8 with reach, a big old spider boy. Whenever it's paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, when this creature dies, you draw cards equal to its power. So this thing, when it dies, we draw a card, and if it's paired with something that's got high power, then we draw a whole bunch of cards for it. Can be fine, but I don't think that it's that impressive. I don't think that it's going to do very much. I think this one could be the best one though. Miragephallics, 6 mana, 4 and double red, 4/4. Soulbound again. As long as it's paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature, except it has haste, and you exile it at the end of combat. If you have Combat Celebrant, you can go infinite with this. If you have the ability to get in with Port Razor, you can go infinite with this. If you have any things that basically get extra combats for you, Aurelia, some of those things and whatnot, you can get additional combats, you can get infinite combats, things like that. So this one is the most relevant out of the lot that I was reading through. I think it's really good, and I think it can be extremely powerful in the right deck, and I don't want to see it. The one card that's in this set is just like, that's actually like decently good, or really decently good, or, you know, I think a lot of people would play. I just go, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see somebody go, oh, cool, I'm just going to sit here and for the next 30 minutes taking extra combat. No, you're not, dude. We're all conceding. See you later. Bye. You know, like, it's just like, as soon as this comes out and you say, okay, no one has anything, okay, game's over, then, you know, just shuffle up and play another one or whatever, and just like make sure you kill that player who you know is running this sort of stuff and just whatnot. But it is really good, so it's just like hard to get around the fact that, you know, there's always combos, there's always things in Commander and whatnot, but I think that some people will definitely run this, and it can be a more utility card as well. But that's the main thing with this card, is that, you know, you're always going to be on edge. You're always going to be like, have they got the combo? Can they just go infinite? You've got to find a point where it's like, nah, dude, nah, I've got to kill this thing, because at some point you're going to get the infinite combo. So I can't just let you have this, so, or whatnot, or I can't let you keep the, you know, the other half of the combo piece if you know the right cards and whatnot. So yeah, I would keep my eye on this, because I think it's a really good sleeper, and well, not sleeper, but I think it's a really good card that a lot of people will want to try and put in the deck. So yeah. Next, Thundering Mare, 5 mana, 3/3. As long as it's paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, when ever an opponent casts a spell, we put a +1/+1 counter on the creature. This doesn't have trample. This doesn't have any other abilities. Yeah, sure, we can give it trample, whatnot, but like, what are you pairing this up with to give something else counters? Like, maybe you can give something that already is getting counters more counters or whatnot, or something that you want to get bigger. more some counters, but I just don't really see that this one can do a whole lot either. So next, Howl, Hinge, Overlord, 6 mana, 4/4, 4 and double green, flash. At the beginning of your upkeep, for each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf, create a 2/2 wolf creature token. I think this is strictly a werewolf card, but it's pretty decent in a werewolf deck. So if you're playing a werewolf deck, I would certainly consider it. You make a lot of wolves, you can get in there with those wolves, or you can just use them as chump blockers or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You can use them to sacrifice or whatever. I don't know. You can do whatever you want with them. And they'll even count to this thing's effect if you get back to your upkeep again. So you'll even amass even more wolves if those wolves stay around and you don't get board wiped. So it can be really, really good and really, really powerful. And it does come in with flash, so you can flash it in at your opponent's before used end step, and then just go to your turn and make a whole ton of wolves, as I say. So it can do some things, but again, it is very limited to being only a werewolf card. And now there's only one commander or legendary creature among these ones, but it's an interesting one because it's a horror. 5 mana, 3 blue-black, 1/1, which is interesting. It gets +1/+1 for each card of our opponent's own in exile, and whenever it or another nightmare or horror enters the battlefield under our control, target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a land card. So this is a nightmare stroke horror tribal commander with some sort of mill or whatever sub-theme. So there's some interesting horrors, and a lot of the horrors do care about sort of milling or whatnot sort of stuff. So yeah, I could see that this could be an interesting commander. Some people want to build horror tribal or nightmare tribal or horror and nightmare tribal. This is finally a commander for you to, go, okay, cool, I want to throw all my, crazy nightmares and horrors and whatnot into a deck and do all this stuff, and, I'll just, mill people out or whatnot, and, this will help me facilitate it, and this will grow bigger and, do other things for me and whatnot. So, and if somebody's like greedy on like running, very few lands or whatnot, this could exile a whole lot of cards when it enters, or, any other creature could exile a whole lot of cards when it enters. So, you could get a lot of value off of cards like this. So maybe that's why it's just a 1/1, because maybe you have that potential to be like, oh, okay, well now it exiles, we've exiled half somebody's deck almost or whatever, because apparently all the lands were in the other half somehow. This thing's huge. Oh, look, somebody's dead because commander damage. So I don't think this is purely a Voltron deck, though. I think this is just like kind of cool horror tribal sort of stuff. But I do think it's at least unique and interesting commander. I don't think it's super powerful, but there is some stuff that you can play around with it. So I think it is a cool commander that a few people might want to build around. So yeah, this is a cool card that I think everyone should know about and, try and do something with if you're interested in it. But as I say, that's pretty much it for the exclusive cards from the set. And as I sort of said in the last video, and I will say it here, I think I said it at the beginning, but I also say it here again, that basically when I was looking through the colorless and the multicolor stuff, basically there wasn't very much stuff there for me to be like, wow, this, I want to talk about this or whatever. How relevant is any of this stuff? Like, some of this stuff, again, wasn't very relevant, I don't think, but again, I wanted to talk about like all the exclusive cards in one selection somewhere, and I thought this is the best place to do it, or the best time to do it or whatnot. So this was the place I decided to do it. So this is what happened. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Looking through some of these cards, I know like most of them not very interesting or not very good, whatever. But like there's the horror guy and that guy that basically goes infinite with a ham sandwich. So, and the wedding ring, which maybe there could be some stuff that people could do with, but yeah, that was about it. But, at least that I think it's more than what was in the colorless and multicolored. At least these are interesting cards that, like last set as well, that they designed specifically for Commander. And that's the thing, like if they keep making cards like this that are specifically for Commander, I think it can only be slightly good. But the thing is, they really need a design team that actually knows what Commander's about and knows how to balance things for Commander. Like, again, I think that white gets shafted quite a lot. Like the white card, like here, wasn't very good. There is some stuff that, again, you could do with it, but again, it's just like, but anyway, yeah, like we'll move on from that and we'll get to ending this video, as I sort of said. So anyway, let me know what you think about all that sort of stuff, and what you think about some of these cards. What do you think about the set overall? What Commander decks do you want me to see me do a build of? I'm going to do the pre-con decks very soon once they come out and whatnot, because I'm filming this beforehand, so they haven't come out quite yet, but they probably will have by the time this video comes out, but whatever. Anyway, I'm still waiting to do them, so yeah, here we are. But anyway, you can let me know what you think. I'm probably going to do an Olivia deck tech because that's a commander that I'm building around. But let me know other commanders that you want to do, want to see here on the channel. Definitely love interacting with all you guys, talking about all this geeky stuff. Will try to respond to all comments. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video, whatever it is, or I'll see you down there in the comments below. Hey, you've just finished watching one of our videos. A bunch of other videos are popping up on your screen now for you to check out, so why not check them out?